go. There we go. There we go. Everybody's moving now. I'm moving. Lachlan's moving. Alex is moving. We got people moving
right out of the gates with Alex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 people. Absolutely. We're not dicking around. Alex Dayrabekov live in Ukraine. He's back for the Alex Dayrabekov program. You can follow Alex at Dayrabekov. His last name with the big at thing on Twitter is one of the best follows in the world. Lachlan Cross is here as well. But, of course, that's where we start. Nice to see you with the porno beard. You got the wartime porno beard going. You look like $1 million. Can't even tell it's you somehow. I was like, you do. You look like you're filming some kind of mountainous porno adventure right now. That beard looks so good.
Yeah. Guys, you make me laugh so much every time we meet. Thank you. This is such a good positive energy that I really need.
Well, dude, that's why we're here. But I do want to get to the porno beard. That is a different look for you, right? Like you. When was the last time you grew a beard? Ever?
Well, once I would take a vacation, I would do a little bit. But this is not this type of vacation anyone would want.
Nope.
Yeah, but
does the wife like it, Alex?
Yeah,
does she like that?
She likes me in any way. So
that's a good answer, because I usually tell the truth on this podcast and on my radio show, and it always bites me in the ass. So that's a good path. That's an excellent path to take.
Yeah. You look great. Of course. What day is it now in the war, Alex? 45?
48.
48. Day 48.
Count. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how you been? How you feeling? How are you today? What's going on?
Yeah, okay. As much as it can be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I made a habit of actually answering this question with saying not okay, and we will not be okay until this hell ends. Mm-hmm. But those are typically with strangers. But you guys, my friends, so we are okay.
Good.
We are.
Good. I'm glad. Speaking of okay, you sent me something pretty special over the last couple of days, and I want to play it for people. Talk about your son Arthur. He's a war baby. We've met how do you say his name? Artur or Arthur? Let me get that name right. Artur. Now, he was born like a hot minute before planes started flying over your hometown of Irpin. And he turned 2 months old just this week. Is that correct?
Yeah, 2 months.
2 months. I can hear him in the background, by the way. Yeah. Alex sent me this video today. I want to play it for people. It might be the cutest shit you ever see in your whole life. Look at this. Oh, can you hear it? Can you see it? Is it not coming through?
No, we can't see it.
Oh, well, here's this one.
Oh, you are talking to me. You are talking to me like that. Oh.
Come on.
There you go. He likes his old man.
Oh,
yeah.
I can see
Go ahead, Alex.
Start smiling.
He just starts smiling like this, this toothless smile, and the first ones, they're so adorable.
Yeah.
He just started smiling?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so beautiful. It was
beautiful.
You could just hear him cooing. In those moments you could just kind of forget about everything, right? Like you're just right there with that beautifulness, because that's perfect. That's perfection. He hasn't pissed anybody off yet. He hasn't stolen your car.
Yeah.
Right?
He hasn't said, "What's a condom, Dad?"
Yeah, he hasn't drank your booze yet. He hasn't done any of those things. I mean,
didn't get lost for the entire night.
Yeah.
It's all coming. It's all coming. Yeah. You know what, Alex? That one smile, you know what that was? That was a big, giant shit, too. I could tell. He pulled his knees up, took a dump. Yeah. He's like, "I'm filling my pants for you, old man." That's what that was.
Yeah, that's what that was. He's like, hey, listen, here you got, Dad, check this out. I am a Dayrabekov.
Yeah.
This thing's coming from the depths of hell.
Well, listen, Alex, your baby's beautiful. We've been riding this terrible nightmare with you for the last few weeks, and 48 days, as you've aptly pointed out. There's been a lot that's been happening over the past week since we've talked to you last. Your hometown of Irpin, Bucha, which was in the news the other day. We were discussing some of the terrible shit that we'd seen in the news of the genocide and the mass graves and the rape and the pillaging of your friends, neighbors. And I know this is hard to talk about, but now liberated. What is that news coming from that area, which is Bucha, Irpin, and correct me if I'm saying this name right, Hostomel, which is the airport region, if I'm not mistaken. But what is the news that's coming out of that region now that it's liberated? Because starting to see pictures of kids playing in parks, but I mean, the uncovering of what's happened there because of the Russian invasion, it must be still, ongoing, right?
Well, yeah, the entire north has been liberated. Even a week ago, it was kind of, it looked like a fantasy, but now it's completely liberated under Ukrainian powers, and it's being cleaned up. The territories are hard to enter. In fact, Irpin, they only allow volunteers to enter. The city is being cleaned up, like physically, it's cleaned up. All the bodies have been removed and taken to the morgues. And by the way, I talked to one of the eyewitnesses whose mother and mother-in-law were killed while they were trying to evacuate a month ago from Irpin. So now that the bodies are moved to morgues in Kiev, she had to some of the morgues. This is difficult to speak, but you can imagine how it is difficult to see. She saw the morgues overloaded with bodies, and there was no place in the morgues themselves, and the refrigerators that were standing by were full with bodies, and there were up to 50 bodies lying right in the yard close to the morgue. That is, and she was, because she was so much focused at actually finding her mother, that she actually went to every single body and looked at it. Just can you imagine just going and looking at 50 body to body, 50 bodies. And that was several days ago. She didn't find her mother. She had to go to another morgue and then to another morgue. And as that they finally found the body. And so this is a story of my neighbor. And of course, this is, and since I'm working with international law and to specifically, I found one eyewitness who actually evacuated more than 200 people from Vorzel, Bucha, Irpin, Vorzel, Kostomy. Those are like villages or cities, towns in the same area. Mm-hmm. So he did it in a month, and he saw so many bad things. Like he eyewitnessed 4 people being killed. He evacuated the girl who was raped by 5 Russians, a 15-year-old kid. I think that's the one who Ursula von der Leyen mentioned in her speech after she visited Bucha. Mm-hmm. That's the girl. He evacuated her, and he saw with his own eyes 2 convoys with Kamaz. Kamaz is a big truck loaded with stuff that was looted from the houses. And there was one convoy with 4 Kamazes and another one with 7 Kamazes. So 11 trucks with stolen stuff that Russians took and then took with them to Belarus. So that is how it goes now.
So that you're talking about not just I'm sorry you got to recount this, and I'm grateful for the fact that you can. But what you're talking about is the people that your neighbors that you talk to, people in Bucha, Irpin, in that entire area, that were eyewitnesses, and you're talking to these eyewitnesses about what they did, and what you just described was this fella who took 200 people out of that area, but he himself, with his own eyes, has talked to and seen the murder of several of your countrymen, several of your neighbors, several of your friends, and including the rape of a 15-year-old girl by 5 Russian guards, and then on their way out after murdering, pillaging, raping. They just went into your houses and took a bunch of shit and loaded them all into these big lorries or these big trucks. And when they left, they took off and went to Belarus. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
Did he freeze?
I think he froze.
Hopefully he'll come back.
He'll come back.
I think
he's back.
Those are the facts. So those are real eyewitnesses, the people I know, the people I talked to, my neighbors, and people, the people I know. So those are not from the news.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we've only heard some of these stories in the news. I mean, you've put up a bunch of pictures and obviously have been following this whole thing, but is that area now, because that was where it started, right, Alex? When you woke up that one morning 48 days ago, where it's like, what was it, 2 a.m, and you're hearing jets fly overhead. They were trying to take over Hostomel airport, correct? Like that is kind of the epicenter of other than the east, as I understand it. That is the epicenter of where that happened as they tried to make their way into Kyiv. And what you're saying is, we're seeing some horrific shit that has happened since. However, this whole area is being sanitized. And then part of that sanitization process is going and finding all these poor Ukrainian people who were murdered and cleaning it up so people can come back in and start rebuilding. Is that correct?
It's the point of rebuilding. That it's just cleaning up the streets first. Can you hear me? Can you? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. We got you.
Yeah. So the first stage is cleaning up the streets so that the cars and vehicles, trucks can go. The second stage is cleaning up the damaged buildings, and there's lots of them in Irpin and Bucha.
Yeah.
And then restoring all the infrastructure, because all infrastructure is damaged: water, gas, electricity, internet. The volunteers that work there, they I don't know where they live. They probably live in their own apartments, but can you imagine? You cannot go toilet. You cannot warm up food. You basically live like in a stone age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
how's the weather there right now? Speaking of which, is the weather getting a little bit better, Alex?
It's getting colder, which is good, which means that the weather fights with us, because as we know, they want to start the attack from the east, and once the weather gets colder, it's better for us. It is colder.
On a daily basis, Alex, we're hearing news about new efforts from a sanction point of view. I know that doesn't necessarily take care of the things that you guys need to take care of, and I know to a man, everyone in Ukraine wants the West to be more aggressive with what we're doing, and I have a feeling based on the rumors of chemical warfare being used by the Russians in the last couple of days. Hopefully there might be a means to an end here, ramping up our support for Ukraine. But are you guys hearing anything in your neck of the woods about what the world is doing to Belarus? Because that's kind of bullshit that they're complicit in this whole thing, and are your leaders pushing to have Belarus sanctioned as well as Russia?
I missed it.
Are your leaders pushing, and are you hearing about efforts to punish Belarus's efforts in this occupation with Russia as well?
Well, yes, of course. Ukrainian government actually imposes sanctions against Belarus, and from what I hear, and from what we hear in our media, is that probably the similar kind of sanctions are against Belarus. Well, my understanding, and I'm not an expert on that, is that most of the sanctions that are against Russia are also against Belarus. because the world understands these countries go together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this is actually Belarus. What is the word? Once Russia was under sanctions within the past 8 years, Belarus was the one who won, because that was the spot which was a transit for the goods to come.
I see. Yeah,
avoid
we see what you're saying.
sanctions.
Yes. They benefited from the sanctions because they were used as a sort of a secondary route into Russia.
Staging area.
Yeah, staging area.
It's one of the things I fucking can't like. Can we just stop for a second? We're talking about like the world's second biggest army, thinking they're going to just kind of go in and take over Kyiv and attack from the north and Belarus. They got their fucking asses kicked. They got their asses kicked all the way back to Belarus and back to Russia. Like, if you remember, Alex, and you do, right? And I know he's a little bit frozen, so he might kind of pack along here, but with us. But he'll pop in. There he is again. But they got their asses kicked, Alex. This is what I'm saying. Like, when that war started, and I'm just taking this as a positive, right? Like, all the terrible things that we've seen, we're going to get to some of them in just a second, and it will be graphic, just letting everybody know. But can we just stop and acknowledge the strength and the power of the Ukrainian army? Can we stop and acknowledge the fact that it was supposed to be over in 48 hours, and not only is it not over, it's 48 days later, and everybody in the north is gone, and they're cleaning it up, and they're rebuilding already? I mean, you're still at war, Alex. You're still at war. This was supposed to be over in 48 hours. Not only is it not over, you kick their fucking asses back to Belarus and Russia. Now they have to go all the way around and try and fight in the south, and they got to restage, and they can't because they're fucking useless. Like, can we talk about that for a second? The civic pride of knowing, hey, listen, we were supposed to be gone. We were supposed to be out of here. This was supposed to be Russian territory today, and we're moving back into our homes, and we're going to go reclaim our land. Like, talk about the strength and the power and that actual news that they're gone in the north. I mean, you did it. This gives me goosebumps even thinking about it, and I can't believe we glossed over it, Alex. Oh, we can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Pop out and pop back in again. Sorry, buddy. It's just one of those things that happens. But I want to get your thoughts on it, because like, that is fucking powerful.
Yeah.
Right?
I saw an interview with the guy today, and he was a Canadian military.
Can you hear us? No, we can't hear you now. No, we'll
figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Pop back in again. We'll get you.
It might be in your settings, Alex. One of the things that that was interesting was this guy from Ontario who is being trained with the Legion, or whatever they're calling it, the Legionnaires,
foreign fighters,
foreign fighters, and he basically said that he can't believe the Ukraine people. Yeah, that was the basis of the conversation, and that's what they got to.
Just in reference to the fact that you're supposed to be under the thumb of Russia right now, and like, fuck, they're gone. Like, you kicked them out. How does that make you feel? Like, just the idea that you're going to be hopefully moving back home. I mean, seriously, how do you process that?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, totally.
Good. Okay. Well, you probably heard that on day one, one of the Washington officials, we don't know who, but one of the Washington officials actually told Zelensky, "You'd better consider giving away a part of the country." To which Zelensky said, "No, well, this is Ukraine is Ukraine with its borders, including Donbass and Crimea, and we are going to fight." And you know that the West actually offered Zelensky evacuation, but he said no, just give us weapons, and he continues doing so. But just to confirm what you just said, Dean, about liberation of the North, several days after this news came, thousands and thousands of people started coming back from the West to Kyiv. There was a big traffic jam on the entrance to Kyiv.
Yeah, you guys are crazy.
20 to 25,000 people would come every day. And, but the people there, we are really fearless. Maybe, I think that many people in the West, if they evacuated, they would stay wherever they went until this is over. But Ukrainians,
You're not wrong.
like, okay, I got to go home.
Go home, find out if the cow's doing okay.
Yeah, or is someone's like, I think I left the curling iron on. It's we could go back now. Honey, did you turn the oven off 48 days ago?
Yeah.
I don't know, but we should probably go back. I mean, that's fucking crazy to me. They're gone out of the north, but the threat's still there. You're still under the cloud of war, and you're like, let's go home.
Yeah, and well, believe it or not, it's funny, but it's also sad. Some people who returned home to European, they actually stepped on a landmine, and from what I know, one lost legs, just because.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, we are fearless, sometimes a bit stupid. Yeah, but this is what we are. This is what our nature is. And this does not stop others from coming back. In fact, I call people in our apartment building chat. I call, don't go back home. And some of my neighbors are like, oh, I really have this very important medical document in my apartment. I really have to go home. I'm like, look, people get injured because there's lots of landmines, shells, and all the kind of explosives. And just like I sent to you, Dean, this shell that is under a tire of a car in our apartment complex. Oh, I don't care. I just have to go pick up my medical document.
Yeah. I forgot my favorite watch. I mean, it's just like the need that people have to go home, though. I mean, that really underscores the need. Speaking of home, you sent me a couple of videos. I want to get to these. This is the video that you sent me about your apartment complex, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us about this. When did you record this, Alex?
This was day 2. I just wanted to film it. I don't know why I did it. Maybe there was some air defense working, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it was just like poof, poof.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so it's clean and shiny. You can see it. It's day 2.
Okay, so that's day 2. This is the second day of the war. This is you. That is your apartment building on the right, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Do I got that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is a video that you took. When was this taken? Because this is the same angle, same video. And hang on, I'll turn this down. What are we seeing here?
It was actually today. The volunteers, actually inhabitants of our apartment complex, are cleaning up the area from all the what do you call them, debris.
Yep.
The debris.
And this is today?
It was today or yesterday. It doesn't matter. Probably today or yesterday. Yeah.
You know what's amazing to me? I'm looking at the top of this picture, Alex, and this is a beautiful apartment building, by the way. What amazes me is like the fact that people are just going, okay, well, grab some wood, put it where the window used to be, and let's get on with it. Like, just the idea that you gotta get on with your life, right? Like that's the incredible part. And it looks as if, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at your apartment building. It looks as if it is kind of unscathed. Have you had a chance to get back to where you used to live at all?
Well, lots of apartments, or several apartments, maybe less than 5%, but several are completely like shelled, because the shell actually hit the apartments. So it's like there's no apartment, there's nothing in it. Just shelled completely together with the walls.
And you have no idea how your old apartment
others,
is.
Maybe half of the complex. My own apartment looks more or less okay because it was on the other side of the apartment building. This side, which is faced Bucha, and Russians were shelling from Bucha, that is, damaged very much. Mine was facing the other side, so it's more or less okay. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I hope it's okay.
Yeah, are you even back in that mindset where you can start thinking about that yet? By the way, like, are you back? Are you? Yeah.
Oh, well, I understand that at least I have some home to return, which is already a good news, but I will not be able to return within the next several months until all the infrastructure is rebuilt, like electricity, water, sewage, gas, internet.
Did they fuck all that stuff up when they left? Like they intentionally fucked up all the infrastructure, all that shit?
No, they were continuously damaging civil buildings throughout the entire month that they occupied the territory of Bucha specifically, and part of European.
Okay, I understand. Back to the inventiveness, though, because we were looking at that scene of your apartment building, and people were like, just put up some wood. You sent this to me today, and it is fucking brilliant. Locke, you'll appreciate this as a good Alberta boy. This is a guy just. It's a window. He's like, but wait till he opens up the window. Where is this from, Alex?
This guy is in Kharkiv, actually. That is from Kharkiv. But just look at his face. He's so happy. He's so happy.
Look at it. Look at how he.
Every window in that building across the way is blown out.
So inventive.
But look across the street. Like, there are people living in these buildings, not a fucking pane of glass. It looks literally like, Nazi Germany back in 1945 when people went in and took pictures. I mean, and they're just like, hey, listen, let's go grab some cabinetry and make ourselves some really cool fucking windows that you can pop down. I mean, there are people still living there, and that's in Kharkiv, and people are still managing to live in Kharkiv. I mean, this is the inventiveness of your people. This is the strength of your people coming out in these really cool fucking videos where you see people just go, hey, listen, we got to get on with life. We need something to keep the rain out. Let's grab the cabinets and make some windows, right?
Yeah.
That smile, though, was his wife said he couldn't do it. And he's like, I told you.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's opened the window to Europe.
His wife's like, it'll never fucking work. And he's like, what do you think of this window?
Look at this. Look at this, honey.
It's fucking magic. I mean, just everything that we see as far as people, because we don't understand that we have first world issues over here. Like, there's a tweet storm if someone gets their coffee order wrong at Starbucks, and I'm watching these videos of these people just getting on with life, and I'm like, my God, this is a lesson for everybody as we sit here, right? As we kind of talk about what you're going through on a daily basis, and you've accepted it, and you're sharing these stories because you want people to see these stories, right? The one that you shared with me today, which bothered me, is, and I don't want to get the name of it.
It's a warning here.
Kramatorsk, is that correct? Kramatorsk?
Yes.
Am I saying that name correctly? I mean,
it's a graphics warning too.
Yeah, that's a graphic warning.
This one's a little rough.
Yeah, the building and the train station in Kramatorsk, if I'm not mistaken, was bombed over the weekend. And this was like, and the video's tough to watch. But this happened, and it wasn't an accident. This was intentional.
It was deliberate.
What do you know about it, Alex, before we play the video?
Well, actually, we are now in a phase when the Russians want to get some kind of achievements, because they have not got anything, basically. They completely lost in the north. They tried to get some part of the south, so they just want to do something. And the only thing they can do is devastations and bombing and shelling of civilian buildings. So they actually shelled 2 huge missiles. They are called Tochka U or Point U. They are really huge. That's like really big missiles and into a train station in Kramatorsk. That was last Friday, April 8th. This is a big tragedy. 57 people killed right there, and up to 100 wounded.
Jesus. They showed this square on. They showed that square on CNN yesterday. They did a walkthrough, and they did like after they got rid of the bodies and the injured. So hundreds of people. When I heard about it, of course, after all the stories that I heard from Bucha, from Irpin,
I just wanted to help somehow the people who lost their close ones, because I've already experienced this so many times within the past month. I talked to the people who lost a mother or a son or a brother. So now I wanted to help. So I started finding information on the social media, and I created a Facebook group, and and I started, posting ads of this group. And finally, at this moment, I think I have more than 500 people joining this group.
Yeah, there's the group.
Yeah, so people, because there is basically very weak coordination between the services, the morgue and the hospital and the mayor's house. So this group will probably help the people who are looking for their relatives to find the people. So 2 or 3 people from this, with the help of this group, already found their lost ones. A mother, one lady found her mother, and there is a girl named Alisa who was lost, who died, unfortunately.
That's this little girl here. Is that correct?
Yes.
This little girl.
Yeah.
So
and her mother,
yeah.
and her mother is a pregnant woman. She's missing now, and we cannot find her. So this is so tragic,
Yeah, it is. Kramatorsk was, as you pointed out, last Friday, and I mean, in the spoils of war, we've been watching it 24/7. I mean, you consume it all the time. Shocked me, but does this stuff, after everything that you've seen, I mean, not just this little girl who passed away, but I mean, dozens of pictures. This is Kramatorsk again. This is a child that was hit by shrapnel, killed. This is another picture. Again, these are fairly graphic pictures. Anonymous put this out. We do a little work with them. Nice people, but they want to make sure people see this as well. It's that's pretty funny. Quit smoking or you won't live to see Putin's death. A new warning thing on a pack of smokes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it goes back. I mean, this is the video and this is the picture you were talking about from CNN. One of the reporters put out there. I mean, the destruction is crazy, but the premeditated attitude of it on behalf of Russia, going back to your point, Alex, and why you're documenting this and why you started this Facebook group. By the way, this will be in our description, so you can go and have a look at it if you know anybody in that area, and we'll hook you up with Alex as he tries to hook people up with people. I mean, it's just it's recovery at this point after all this stuff happens. But the premeditated aspect of it, this was I don't know if you saw this. The missile that landed in Kramatorsk railway station had the words "for the children" written on the side, messed up and likely indicative of a parallel reality Russian propaganda is creating. I mean, it's big fucking missiles, and it was as intentional, right? I mean, that just says that is not just an accident. That is as intentional murder, war crime as you're going to find in any war, right? Shooting people trying to leave the scene, shooting like missiles, babies, children, women, pregnant women, individuals that are trying to get out of harm's way, and they're lobbing cruise missiles into harm's way, Alex.
Yeah, it looks like an agony of the regime when they understand they cannot fight according to the rules, and so they use all illegal methods. And this is what exactly war crimes is that, well, wars have their own rules. So whatever is out of the rules is a war crime. So this is a typical war crime that they did.
Oh, it's fucking gross too. It's on such a mass scale that we haven't seen this kind of stuff before. But apparently going to get worse. Now, what do you know about? You and I were kind of DMing back and forth. We were talking about chemical weapons. I know Locke mentioned it. And there's a fella, I don't know if you heard this, but Putin basically cleaned house with the FSB. 200 of his agents are either in jail or under house arrest. I think the number sits at around 21 senior military officials, generals, and stuff like that have been taken out by you. I want to get to how you guys are doing that. But I want to talk a little bit about the uptick, because Ukraine is telling people in the East, hey, listen, get the fuck out of the East. And I think we're seeing why. Chemical weapons were dropped from drones yesterday in Mariupol.
that has not been confirmed. It was a tweet. Alex, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was a tweet from the mayor that is saying that he's seeing evidence of chemical weapons used, and Zelensky has commented on it since, saying, I can't confirm it, but we are looking into it. And I mean, you guys aren't part of the propaganda. I mean, Zelensky wants to tell the world the truth. So I know he's going to want to have evidence of this happening before they announce it. And unless it's come out in the last couple of hours, because I saw that when I was making a sandwich about an hour and a half ago upstairs, that it's a rumor that has not been 100% confirmed yet.
Yeah.
Well, there was another a statement from the Azov battalion, the one that is fighting in Mariupol, that several soldiers have the signs that could be identified as a result of the chemical attack. Okay. And again, the West said that they want to investigate it, and they are concerned about it. And if it is confirmed, then, as President Biden promised, that's going to be
that's the game changer.
Hopefully, that's a game changer.
The UK they doubled down again today and said, if he used chemical weapons, everything's off the table. Like, I mean, every discussion we've had so far about how to handle this is like, that's it, we're done, and it's a game
hammer
changer.
Time. Yeah, and as it should be. I mean, and the guy who's in charge of that effort.
We shouldn't have to wait for him to drop chemical weapons on this fucking country, though, before we acted. I understand what you're saying, Dean, but I think we should have got to this stage quicker, obviously.
I do too. I mean, and it goes back to what we were kind of leading into, which is Putin sacks a couple hundred FSB guys. All of his military dudes are dead. So who does he go and get? The butcher, this guy. Dayrabekov, is that his name? If I'm going to understand this correctly, this guy is the butcher of Aleppo, the butcher of Grozny. He is the biggest fucking coward. All he does is just hammer the shit out of people. He doesn't care how it happens, and he's like the only guy left that Putin trusts, which is good news because I read a lot about him today, and apparently he's only ever been in charge of every rear guard, and I don't even know what the fuck that is, but he's just been in charge of shitty armies that are left to go and pound the shit out of different things. So, but my point is this, is that he's not a good dude, and he's the guy that was in charge of the chemical attacks in Aleppo, rumors of chemical attacks at Grozny. Like, this is the mark of this guy. But what does that news do for you? Like, who is this guy, and what do you think of it?
Well, as we know, the information about his appointment is from the Western sources.
Yeah.
Not the Russians do not confirm or do not deny. They do not say anything about it. His predecessor is unknown even to the West. And we don't even know whether there was a predecessor or not. And before, until now, until the appointment of Dvornikov, they were not well coordinated between, and it seemed like they actually acted separately, very bad communication between them. And that is confirmed by many stories that I heard as well. And now, it is expected that this guy will shape up the communication, to better communication between the different parts, and of course the atrocities that we already saw in Kramatorsk. It is obviously his first, steps in this position.
He is not shy about taking action against civilians. What I was reading this morning is that he doesn't. There's no rules in his world.
Which is why Putin has him. I mean, he's just fucking fired and hired and jailed every single person that was involved in this thing because they all suck so hard at war.
I think it's bigger than that. I think it's a matter of him not hearing what he wants to hear. He's a narcissist. He's a megalomaniac.
Putler?
Putler. And he is not getting the information that he wants to hear back from his sources. So instead of saying, okay, well, they must be right, what can we do next? He's panicking, and he's just arresting everyone. So I think this is a sign of his lack of grasp on this situation. And that's total speculation and opinion. But you don't make these kind of decisions from the people that are feeding you information about what and you need to use that information to set up your next stage. He just fired everybody
or kills them. I mean, they say fire,
like,
but they might have killed him too, right? They might fucking hung him up. But it's everywhere, dude. In Poland, they hate this guy so much, which is crazy because I thought Poland would be pretty sympathetic to that stuff. A Polish soccer game, let me play this. They put you know how at soccer games and hockey games they put like big flags of countries and they drag them across the crowd and stuff. This is what they did at a Polish soccer game the other day.
Yeah, that's
old
good.
Putler in a noose.
Wow.
Yeah,
he is fucking fantastic. Hated. And speaking of Poland, tell me about these tanks in Poland that disappeared, because this is a great video that you sent me, Alex. I would love to know more about this. Like a great video. What is this?
Yeah, well, there's no official information, at least from what I know so far. But there's like rumors and copied in the media that more than 100 armored vehicles, including tanks, were lost. We are lost in Poland, and now they are found closer to the east. So there is a way. In other words, there is a way to give us more heavy weapons, and Poland obviously found one.
You know what's interesting?
Dude, he sent me that video today, and he's like, here's a video of some tanks in Poland that disappeared into Ukraine somewhere. And I'm like, oh, I get it. They look like they're great at killing Russians. And he's like, heads up.
You know what is interesting? The military experts in the West that they keep bringing on all these talk shows, Alex. They're all talking about how the Ukraine has changed the war, and they were saying that that you guys, because of how effective you have been with destroying Russian tanks, that might end tank warfare moving forward.
Way to go.
Yeah, so that's something like you guys are redefining how to fight back based on your successes. So yeah, it's crazy.
Beautiful.
But it probably wouldn't hurt to have some of those tanks on your end, on your side.
Yeah. Oh, is he frozen again? I think he might be frozen again. Yeah.
Is
Did you see him? It's like 100 tanks. There's 100 tanks. There are plus 120 tanks already in Ukraine. Like, that's how crazy it is. They're plus. Sorry, did you hear what Lachlan was saying before he froze? He was like, he had heard that they had changed because of the way that you guys have you're like plus 120 tanks and Russia's minus 720. They're now thinking tanks are not usable in war. You've changed warfare.
Well, probably yes. And the other video that I sent to you, Dean, today, with the Russian convoy going in Russia towards Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
There's 84 vehicles and no tanks.
Not one tank.
Not one tank. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because your farmers kept stealing all their tanks.
Well, they are useless, and we are not military experts. But what the military experts are saying is that after this war, the entire concept of using heavy tanks will be reinvented. So we thought a tank costs minimum. Yeah, it costs minimum $10 million. $10 million, and anti-tank missile costs about 800,000.
I fucking love it. So let's count. Minus 720 tanks, 10 million a tank. That's Jesus Christ. What are we talking? 7 billion in tanks. You guys have fucked up.
10 million for one tank is what Stacy's saying. That's awesome. I love it.
That's unbelievable. And it's funny because we watch these videos here and like farmers just are like just driving around with them attached to the back of their John Deeres at this point. They're like, hey, I got another one. Hey, I got another one. There's like 80 tanks for sale on eBay, like 80 of them. Anyway, it's fascinating. And by the way, it's just an incredible story. I mean, I know we check in with you from time to talk about not just what's happening over there, but just to talk about the state of the people, the state of warfare, and how you've changed so much. The Ukrainian people have changed so much. So it's our great hope that we can help a little bit. And so what we did, Alex, is we came up with a shirt in a way that you can donate to you. We can get money directly to you to be able to buy some cookies, buy some diapers, buy some blankets, buy some microwaves, some water, sustenance, just the things that people need on a daily basis. Because the other thing that you do when you're not doing all the other stuff, taking care of a young family and documenting things and trying to, hook people up that are missing family members when you're doing the dirge of war. The other thing you're doing is the dirge of war, and we want to help. So what we did is we created this shirt, which we are sending you. It is the Slava Ukraine shirt, and 100% of the proceeds from the shirt will go directly to you so that you can purchase food, clothing, and much, much more. And whether or not you need it, you're going to get it anyway. And I know you're going to say you don't need it because the last time we had you on this show, the last time we had you on the show, Alex, we're like, hey, can we help send you? And you're no, we're good. We're good. You're not good. We want to send you more money. And so 100% of the proceeds from the Slava Ukraine shirt, which we have absolutely stolen the Ukrainian army flag for, by the way, just so you know, and the donations, which you can do at deanblundell.com, the shop, the store. If you go to deanblundell.com, click on the drop-down menu, you'll see store. We just want you to buy these two things. Buy the shirt, make a donation to Alex, and let Alex fill up his bank account so he can go and get cookies, diapers, tea, and all that other stuff that he so desperately needs, which he's been working hard to do. So Alex having some technical issues, but we're gonna.
The other thing that I found out, because I interviewed him yesterday for the Locker Room, and we posted that interview up on the Locker Room YouTube page. If you're curious, we got into a good discussion about how his work has shifted. And maybe Alex, if you can hear me again, you can speak to how you've sort of morphed this original delivering to the bomb shelters now to working with restaurants and also taking care of families and groups of people that are in need.
Yeah. Well, can you hear me now?
Yep, you bet.
Yes. Sorry, the internet connection must be sloppy here.
Well, there's a war going on in your country, so we'll allow for the odd bad connection.
For the odd technical difficulty.
Yeah. But did you know that we have more and more Starlinks coming? So soon all Ukraine will be covered with Starlinks, Elon Musk Starlinks, and I bet. And when the next war happens, we will be covered and internet will be working. So even if
Starlink, he's talking about Elon Musk, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Alex, you need just to recap. What do you need from? You saying how you're trying to help restaurants now? How that job is kind of morphed.
Yeah. Well, we started in the beginning of the war with delivering stuff to the subways. But we bought some stuff in the supermarkets and delivered them directly. Then humanitarian aid started coming, and we figured, okay, we need to do something else because the subways are more or less covered, and we wanted to help volunteers who are helping others. That is the segment in business terms that is not covered. There's lots of volunteers, and within a month they actually wiped out their own resources and their own money, and they were like, okay, we want to help, but we don't have fuel. We don't have money for fuel. So I started sponsoring to deliver from the west to Kiev. One trip is around $200, and we get a lot of stuff. Yeah. Operated with that cook meals who need them. So they also needed ingredients for cooking borscht or some basic meals. this is another direction that we finance.
Working with the restaurants. We had him cut out there. Yeah. So he's directly working with the restaurant scene, and then delivering food to the people in need as well, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and the third direction now is very important and crucial, is that some Irpin and Bucha are now very popular. In fact, Bucha, I just talked to a guy in Bucha, and he's like, well, so many journalists there, which is really good, because it means that the entire world came to see Bucha. Bucha is now on the news all over the world. But there's so much humanitarian aid already in Bucha, so they don't need it anymore. But there's lots of other villages in Chernihiv Oblast. They don't have basic stuff. That's another direction that we now take. We have volunteers who want to deliver it, and I sponsor them as well from the money that I get as donations.
Yeah, well, so we're going to do what we can on this end, Alex, to help you out, and hopefully that shirt has been very popular, and it's been flying off the shelves, which is it's a
hot shirt, dude. Look at the shirt. Yeah. Like we went all in with Ukraine, blue and yellow, and then we totally stole the Ukraine Army signal. We put that on the front, and we're gouging people $40 for it, because who doesn't want to give 40? I mean, it's $2.20s. It's just a couple of quick like in and outs at like a Tim Hortons or a McDonald's or like dude, just go get a shirt. And if you don't want to do that, go and donate. There's a million ways to do it. But help us help Alex make a difference in and where he can. It's a small operation. It's just him, but he's connected to everybody. And there's lots of work to be done. In any way that we can support you, we will, Alex. And I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you for donating your time, and I want to thank you for making us happy, and I want to play Artur's video one more time before we let you go, if that's okay with you, because he's the cutest. Alex sent us a happy birthday to the young man. He's about as beautiful as it gets. Look at how cute this little fella is. Come on, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? Look at this little face. Oh, hang on a second. Let's go full view. Oh, let's go full view. Where is he? There. Look at that face. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the eyes. Look at that. Look at him.
Oh, look he's going to be trouble.
Oh, yeah, Alex,
dude. Artur is going to be trouble.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Dude, you're in so much trouble. This kid is going to be just like you, only way worse.
Okay.
All right.
Artur,
thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Alex. We really appreciate it.
All right. I think
who listened to us. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you next week. You keep your chin up and stay positive, and text me anytime. You know I'm always here.
Keep those videos coming too. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Follow Alex at Dayrabekov is where you can find him.
So just his last name is on Twitter. He's you know what? And if you do follow him on Twitter, make sure you retweet his videos. Yeah. Because he's getting the word out, and we want to make sure that we keep getting the word out about what he's dealing with, his beautiful young family and the entire country of Ukraine because of the assholes in Russia. Unbelievable.
All right. It is. But nice to see the people rally around it. We've seen a ton of people buy that shirt. We're going to ship 100%.
There's a cash donation box there too. If you don't need the shirt or whatever, it's right beside it. Just click the little gift box.
Yeah.
I actually just went and checked, and we had 3 or 4 just cash donations come in the last couple of hours.
Good.
So that's awesome. And we sold a couple of shirts too.
And you know, the great part about this is that it gives us a chance to do some business with like-minded people. And one of those is someone that you know that I'm just getting a chance to meet today. Please welcome Colin Bruce. Ladies and gentlemen, you get a clap too. Colin, nice to see you.
Thanks for having me on, you guys.
Oh, great to see you.
Colin.
Explain how you guys know each other, and then we'll get to the business of what we're here to do. Who wants to start? Who wants to admit to knowing who?
Well, I can start. Colin, for some reason, got talked into advertising his fine company on our show and our radio station, and then it started to work for him. So he's stuck around, and now he can't get rid of me.
Yeah, Colin Bruce Mortgage Team. in Edmonton, Alberta. This dude is, you can see, a legend. He's won the Platinum Award, top 20, best of mobile technology winner in 2019. You've got a lot of awards here, Colin. Lachlan has none. How do you guys get along?
Well, he's bigger than me, so that's pretty much it. No, it's great. We've been on the locker room with these guys for a couple months now, and I mean, it's great to be on there. But man, the whole crew is awesome. So I love working with them. Yeah, it makes it pretty easy to work with these guys.
Yeah, it's great, and you came to mind. I think you guys have a really neat relationship. That's kind of what Lachlan was saying. How did you bring him to mind? Because you're here for a reason. You also want to help, and the altruism that surrounds Lachlan Cross. Believe it or not, you won't find a more charitably minded individual, and it seems like you do the same. A lot of that stuff, as Colin Bruce and the Colin Bruce mortgage team are into helping people get into homes, talking about Habitat bringing communities together to help families build strength, stability, independence through affordable home ownership. Not a lot of mortgage brokers are interested in the greater good, but you are, which is why you get along. But explain that, Locke, and why Colin's here.
Well, and I'll let Colin speak to it quickly here, but I just know from a conversation we had leading up to this, he's devastated by the news and what he's seeing and watching people get displaced from their homes. And he is in the business of putting people in homes. So he was like, this is a perfect fit for me and my team. And said, how can we ask how he can help? And then we came up with the matching thing. So we're going to try to raise $1,500 over the next couple of weeks. And Colin said, if you get to $1,500, I'll match it. So then we'll be able to send $3,000 to Alex.
Well, we're going to send you $1,500 no matter what. So hopefully you do match or they match and goes higher. But yeah, no matter what, we're giving that for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
Well, look at what they're going through. It makes your day-to-day problems here seem pretty minimal. Hey, I know there's people going through a lot here too, but man, like just the stuff that he's doing there too, and people, yeah, it's unimaginable what they're going through, but it's great to see people like Alex stepping up, and you guys too. You guys are doing a lot, so good on you.
Well, you know what's interesting, and I kind of believe in karma. I also believe you meet people in your life at certain times of your life for a reason. And I think we found Alex, and I think he found us for a reason. I love the fact that he sat his wife down and said, I can't leave. I have to stay. I have to find a way to help, and knew that he wasn't going to be any help with a gun on his shoulder on the front lines, and said, okay, what skills do I have? Well, I can speak English. I can do this. I'm organized. I have contacts, and he's used those skills to help his people. And he is part of the reason why Russia's not going to win. And it's amazing to watch this. And we've had the pleasure of front row seats with Alex. And I tell you, every time I see that guy's smiling face, my heart soars for him. And we have him on once a week, and I get up every morning and I check to make sure he's still on Twitter, and just an unbelievable story. So if we can send him a couple of grand, so that he can continue, and he's creative, right? He's like, okay, my work's done here. Now what
now we're going to help. Yeah.
Now what can we do here? And he's shifted how he's helped through the course of the last, 48 days of this occupation, right?
Incredible, you guys.
Yeah. It is.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, and we thank you. It's interesting. I think, we give business a hard time for being business until, you go to business with your hand open and you're like, hey, can you help us out? And, it's funny because there aren't a lot of people that run successful businesses like the Colin Bruce mortgage team at Edmonton, who sit there and go, you know what? Yes, we're in business. Yes, this is a viable company. Yes, we all have to make a living, but how are we making the world around us a better place? I see that in your Twitter feed, and I see it in your business. Is it something that's important to you, and why? Because there's a lot of altruism that comes from you as a company and you as a person that I've seen.
Well, you know what? Like even like prior to having this business, we had a couple other businesses that didn't go too well, and so we struggled. We were broke. We were, we've gone through all that where my parents were giving us money so I could get a haircut. So, anything like Ukraine, like don't even remotely compare to what's going on there. But, I think that's where, kind of it opened your eyes, and we're fortunate enough that, our business has done well, and we have the ability to give money to charities and to people. So if we can, we like to help. I mean, that's really it. It's something.
Colin's wife, Janelle, is also the first thing she said to me when she met me within minutes was, if you guys ever need any help, please.
That's the second thing she said. Sorry.
She said, if you guys ever need any help with anything, please make sure you let us know. So they come by it honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude, listen, we appreciate it. And any person that admits to knowing Lachlan out of business, like in a public setting, is good by me, Colin.
Well, thank you guys for what you do. You guys are great.
By the way, one thing to keep in mind, Colin, everyone knows Colin in Edmonton. I mean, probably half the people watching in Edmonton right now have actually gotten a mortgage through Colin. And he's the first guy you need to call if you need a mortgage, but he's also in BC. He has an office in BC, and they are working on expanding outside of Alberta and into the east. I believe you guys are not far away from opening up offices in Ontario, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. Yeah, probably a couple months away. So it's just the licensing's a bit of a couple of hoops to jump through, but
oh no, you're saying there's forms to fill out when you're opening up a mortgage company?
There's a few.
Can I tell you something right now?
What?
The idea of being a mortgage broker and insurance broker excite me until someone goes, now wait for the forms. Like if they just got rid of forms forever, I would do all kinds of business, but it's the forms that make me angry. Like it's the same reason I'll never run for government, because if they say to me, hey Dean, we'd love for you to make a difference, I'm like, okay, I'm listening. Love for you to come and work for okay, still listening. Here are the forms to fill out. I'd be like, not today, sir. Not today. I won't.
Generally
be filling
speaking,
out any
though,
forms.
Dean, you do shy away from work, because whenever an idea comes up, you always go, "That's a good idea. You should go do that."
Mm-hmm. He's contributing. He's contributing.
That's how I ended up launching a merch page.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Which you're intrinsically involved in now. So look at how my plan works all the time. Yep. I meet Colin. You start a merch store. You can go and donate to Alex, and our friends at the Colin Bruce Mortgage Team have kindly donated $1,500. We need to get to about $3,000 before we can ship Alex some money. So we would highly encourage everybody to head to the store, deanblundell.com. Check it out. Drop down menu, super easy. Get the Slava Ukraine t-shirt, or just donate as much as you can to Alex. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And when you come to Ontario, let us know. We'll help get the word about a Colin Bruce Mortgage Team.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Colin,
thanks, brother.
We'll see you at a football game soon. Awesome. Season starts soon. We're going for beers. All right. Thank you, my friend.
Care. Colin Bruce from the Colin Bruce Mortgage Team. He's a good dude, man.
Oh, good. Him and his wife are absolutely amazing.
You can tell he's just like a genuine person, right?
Just a good person. Yeah.
He's not one of those shooters. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, he's one of those. No, I'm just here to help. I've struggled like everybody else has, and we're fortunate, and we can't forget that stuff. So if you need a mortgage, there you go. Colin Bruce Mortgage Team. All these awards to Lachlan.
He's going to take over the damn country. Yeah,
well, he should.
Hold on. I do have a Canadian Music Week award. I think they gave it to me because I was the Susan Lucci of that. So,
because you were nominated every year and it never happened for you
for like 22 years, and then finally they said, well, "Okay, here's one."
I got sad news.
What do you got?
Gilbert Godfrey died just now.
What the?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
What did he have?
Gilbert died. Yet to figure it out because it just happened. Scott Trades from the Hot Wallet podcast, he sent me the note from actually Gilbert's account. I'll get it for you. He was very sick.
So sad.
Oh, dude, I couldn't. So think about it. Bob Saget, gone. Gilbert Godfrey, gone. Who's the other comedian that was buddies with Gilbert that we lost? It was like the Three Musketeers of stupidity and comedy, which I've loved for years. There was another dude that we lost this year. I can't remember who it was. Another comedian. Fuck, you got to help me out here. Help me out. What's the name of the other comedian that we lost? It'll come.
Oh, why?
Or someone will say it in the comment section.
In the chat.
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
Norm McDonald. Thank
Norm
you, Rob.
McDonald. Damn
Yeah.
it. It was, and actually they were friends. Bob and Norm were friends, and Gilbert. You know what's interesting? It's funny. Gilbert passing away. I heard an interview that he did within the last year, and he was admitted that he was terrified of COVID. And he kind
did he
of
really?
Louis Anderson too is another sad loss from the comedy world, right?
I think they were all pals too. Like I think they were all super, super tight. Like I'm looking at pictures here of Bob Saget with Gilbert Gottfried and
Bob and
Norm McDonald
were legendary friends, right? Yeah.
Bob and Norm are legendary friends. Norm and Gilbert were legendary friends. Bob and Gilbert were legendary friends. I mean, those three guys, and then you throw Louis Anderson into the mix. And this was the note that went out from Gilbert's account. Listen, awesome. I've interviewed him a dozen times, and he's wonderful. I remember that. Well, I'll get to the story in a second. This is from his account. We are heartbroken to announce the passing of our beloved Gilbert Gottfried after a long illness. In addition to being the most iconic voice in comedy, Gilbert was a wonderful husband, brother, friend, and his father to his two children. Although today is a sad day for all of us, keep laughing as loud as possible in Gilbert's honor. Love the Gottfried family.
Wow.
Don't know what he died from. Might have been COVID. Don't know.
There's a line in here from Ray. He suffered from, it's a heart situation. Huh.
Oh, from Ray. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Suffered from recurrent ventricular tachycardia. Recurrent ventricular tachycardia. It's a tough one.
Okay.
Form of heart failure due to myotonic dystrophy type 2. So bad ticker is what.
Okay.
Is what he's saying. So,
right.
Thank you, Ray. Fucking bizarre, isn't it?
Brutal. Yeah,
that he's gone.
Well, and kind of a controversial comic as well, which I think that's why I loved him so much. Right? Like when people were not saying things, he had the balls to say things. Or
all the time.
He lost that duck job because of one of his tweets.
Aflac, yeah, because he tweeted something about something, and then they fired him, and he had to keep up. He apologized every time he tweeted. His last tweet. I'm going to show you his last tweet. I was just going for it. This is fucked, dude. It's crazy. His last tweet was right after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, of course. Gilbert was like, hey, let's have some fun with that while I'm dying. Which is the worst crime, Chris Rock being physically assaulted or Chris Rock telling a joke?
You know what's funny? And obviously he's taking a shot at Chris Rock because he's friends with him and he can. I don't know if you saw this, but I actually had confirmation. We talked about it on the show. I said, please, somebody tell me that you caught this during the Masters broadcast. And I only saw it once, and I watched the Masters I watched it straight from Thursday right through till Sunday. I had it on and watched it as much as I possibly can, and I only saw the clip once. So DJ, Dustin Johnson, is one of many golfers that got talked into giving their favorite Tiger moments, right? It was the 25th anniversary of his first win at the Masters. He won 5 times. So they're bringing all these guys on, and they're like, oh, well, I was 2 when he won the first time, but when I saw him win in 2000 and blah, 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 right? And they're all telling these really nice stories about Tiger. And then just Dustin Johnson, they flip to him, and he goes, I remember watching him in 1997, and he was just pounding the ball past the bunkers on 18, and now he can't even get it to them. And he had a little shit-eating grin on his face, and they cut to the next guy. And I'm like, what? I went back and I watched it. It's got nice music, and it's got the little, the elevator music running underneath. You can tell he was being a dick. I went online to try to find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. They must have realized after the fact what he was doing. He was throwing shade at his buddy Tiger.
For sure.
And he got it in.
Yeah.
And they ran it once and yanked it. And then I said, somebody must have seen it. And they did. I had 2 people, one text and one caller on the show when I brought it up. They were like, no, I totally caught that. Right.
Yeah, dude, I saw the same thing. I saw it twice though. I don't think
I missed it.
I don't think because you phoned me and you told me about it. You're like, you got to fucking get it for the show, and I looked for it and I can't. But then I watched it, and I watched the first half of it and the last half of it because I saw it twice. I was kind of in and out when I was watching the Masters, and that's a sign of a good friendship when you can totally shit on some guy publicly, and he's like, "I love you, man." That's the beauty of comedians too, right?
I loved it. I loved the fact that DJ took a shot at him.
Oh, dude, that just is it's
So
like
good.
everybody can have fun. Like Tiger doesn't give a shit. And that was really what Gilbert and these guys did to each other all the time. Like Gilbert and Chris Rock were like best friends as well. And Gilbert, if you go back through his tweets, you'll see he never once says anything nice about him. He just shits on him all the time. And Chris Rock loved it. And it was the same thing for Norm. Every tweet about Norm was just taking a big dump on Norm. Same with Bob Saget. And they were so fucking fast. And then Saget would do the same.
Fast.
But what you don't know is behind the scenes, Gilbert and Bob and Norm, every time they hung up the phone with each other, you know what they said? I love you.
Huh?
I love you, man. Have a great day. Bob was the guy that started it, actually. He's super famous for telling people he loves them. And the reason why is we're seeing it now, right? 67, 61. Norm was 58. I mean, these are people that are comic geniuses, and they died very young, and they all got very sick. Or Bob, in Bob's case, still a mystery. But I mean, appreciate people while they're here, people, right?
Bob,
you never know when your number is going to get called.
Hold on, no, Saget. It was a brain bleed. They don't know what happened, but they think he might have slipped in the shower, bumped his head, and then didn't really think anything of it, and then he went to bed, and we lost him.
Yeah,
or something.
The family's still sketchy on details, but bottom line, he's not here, right?
Yeah.
Fucking wild. Yeah. It is crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, Godspeed, Gilbert Godfrey. Thank you for the laughs. I remember one time I interviewed him a dozen times, and there's one time that stood out to me. And he lost a lot of weight when he'd come in. I think it was heart condition related. It doesn't matter. He came in and he was loud, obnoxious when he comes in. But when he sits down, if he's not on a microphone, he's super meek, super quiet. Hello. Nice to see you. Hello. Great to be here, kind of. But would like sit and go, how are you? Nice to see you. What's your name? Like he would literally, he's just a wonderful man. So after the interview, it's like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock rolls around. We go till 10. I was hungry at 10. I went to this little restaurant that we had in the actual radio station in the building. It was a nice building. A lot of money in that company. I took it with me. Anyway, long story short, I go to this little restaurant called La Prep, and there's Gilbert sitting with his agent. And he sees me and he waves me in, and I come in, and it's just like everybody's standing around. I'm like, hey, dude, that was great. Thanks so much. He goes, why don't you sit with me and have a sandwich? So I'm like, I sit down. Of course, Gilbert Godfrey, sit down and have a sandwich. And he made me laugh for 45 straight minutes. Yeah. And I got a coffee, and I sat down, and I crossed my legs, and I just sat and enjoyed Gilbert Godfrey talking on his phone, talking to his agent, talking to his food. You can get in my mouth, he says, as he starts eating. I mean, and the biggest concern was at the end of the meal, he's like, how much are we tipping? And I was like, dude, you're a beauty. I threw like 10 on the table, and I said, "Oh, that do it?" And he goes, that's too much. You're crazy. And I didn't know this, but later on I talked to him again. I'm like, remember that? He goes, I never pay more for food than I have to. I'm like, why? He goes, because I'm me. But he was like that with everybody. He never said no to anybody. Everybody he talked to, he would talk to them, literally were in his presence. He would talk to them, wouldn't look past them. So Godspeed, Gilbert Godfrey. You are one of the best interviews, and just a legend. I mean,
people talk about him all the time. Brent, I met Brent he's on the Kids on the Escalator podcast with Chris. They got a legendary nerd podcast, and Brent has also been on the Dean Blundell podcast quite a few times. And he tours. He's a road manager for a touring company. So he's in town today and tomorrow. And he came in yesterday for Imagine Dragons. And he said, well, let's hook up. So I drove down to a local watering hole of ours, Kelly's Pub here in Edmonton, and we hooked up, and we had a couple of drinks. And he doesn't drink, so he had some non-alcoholic beers, and we had some wings and some sandwiches, and had a couple of beers with him. And then the bill, they swing by the bill, and he's like, I'll grab that. And I went, I'll tip. And he goes, okay. I was right
I love
there.
that.
with
I
some
love being
cash.
the tip guy. Every time someone
Yeah.
splashes out, you're like, let me get the tip. And you're like, thank fucking God I'm not paying the
So
bill.
anyway, I grabbed my wallet and I put the tip down, and I see him out of the corner of his eye going. So he's taking the money and he readjusted the tip. Let's just say that. He wasn't
he
letting me
pocketed
get
some
away
money?
with tipping what I tipped.
Do you think he pocketed the money?
No, he added more because I
'Cause you're a
didn't
cheap
tip
prick?
enough in his mind.
Are you serious? Are you that much
That
of a
was
cheap prick
what-
when it comes to? Are you
No,
Gilbert Godfrey
no,
of tipping?
No,
Is that what
I
you
think
are?
I tipped around 12 or 15%, which I thought was good, but he clearly didn't feel like that was enough. So I think he padded it. I'm pretty
I don't
sure
know.
he did.
What do you tip? Let's get into that because I ordered a pizza the other day and I gave a guy 15% of the pizza and I almost fucking killed myself. I was like, oh my God, 15% of a pizza, the fucking pizza place across the street. And then I went to talk to my kids about it. And like, you're a douche. I'm like, what do you mean I'm a douche? They're like, dude, you got to tip 15% on everything, at least 15 to 20%. But I'm like 49. So 5 and 10 for me was like, and I grew up with the cheapest dad of all time, where every time we went to a restaurant, his thing was keep it under $5.
Yeah.
Keep it under $5. And that's all I have in my head all the time.
I had a
Keep it under
grandmother that
$5.
thought if
And
the
then when
bill
the
was
tip
too
came-
high, she would steal shit from the restaurant. No word of a lie.
That's where you're from. That's where you're from.
Yeah, that's what I grew up with. So quite often, if I end up tipping, my wife or my daughter will go back in and just double check to make sure.
You're the
like the-
Gilbert Godfrey of tipping in your house.
I'm the 10 to 15% guy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of throwing 20% down. I mean, I understand that everyone's hurting right now, but yeah. I
What do
got
you
a
mean?
mortgage and kids that are living their best lives so that I can work until I'm 90.
Okay, well, let's go to the comment section and have a look at what people are saying about you. This is your friend Wade. Should have tipped customary James P. White 25%.
Oh, Wade. He doesn't tip 20. James P. White has a head injury and doesn't know what math is and thinks he tips 25.
This is your boy Stony. Lock is cheap. This is Shelly. She says cheapo lock. A lot of people saying you're
15%
fucking
cheap. 15% cheap.
No,
The
that's
bill
average.
was okay. All right. That's when I tip. I don't tip anything more than that.
Depending on the Stony says, depending on service and quality of food, probably minimum 20%. Minimum of 20%? Are you fucking
No,
kidding me?
He's got his head up.
Just
his
a
ass.
minimum of
he
20%.
doesn't
Stony,
tip
you're
like that.
crazy.
And
You've
I
been out
also
with Stony
believe
before.
that if you do a delivery service, you shouldn't tip more. If I pick up from a restaurant,
I don't
I'll
tip.
tip 10%.
I never tip. Dude, that's
if
the
you
thing.
if you deliver to the house, I'll give you 15% to the tip to the driver. Is what, like if I got a pizza delivered to the house, but 95% of the time we drive and pick up.
What about takeout? You even if you show up for takeout, you're tipping. Like even if you show up to
If
get
I
Thai
show
food,
up-
it's $100 for 4 pad
If it-
Thais, chicken and shrimp. Never get the beef, and it's $100. You're going to give them 15% on top of that 100.
No,
already
no.
an inflated
If
price.
I pick up, I give them 10.
Don't
So
give
if
them
it's-
anything a tip up. What are you doing? You're fucking making everybody that picks up look bad. Everybody, listen to me. If you get takeout, never ever tip.
All right, they're gonna turn on you.
All right,
now.
Locke. Well, what are you tipping for? Them bringing it from the kitchen to the fucking front? Like,
I don't
you
know.
have a good attitude with that, and you take the food out. You want to
the-
tip just in case the food's shit. That's my
Okay.
question.
The people that I go to, like that we get food from,
Yeah,
I know them. We go regularly.
it's different.
Like I go to a Vietnamese place and I get some noodles, I get some pho, and I
Pho.
enjoy that. So pho. I get that.
Faux.
Sometimes I get their spicy noodle,
Yeah.
and I will tip the ladies because they're sweet as pie. I will tip them 10%.
Yeah, that's fine. That's different. You got a relationship. I'm talking about the place around the corner you go to pick up, and they're like, here's your food. And they go, oh, by the way, our prices went up 25%. And then they look at you like you're crazy if you don't tip. You're like, no, knock off the tip. I'm not tipping you. You just brought that 15 feet to me. And I don't know how this tastes. So next
All
time,
right.
maybe I'll tip you. Does that make
All
sense?
right, there's 2 screens here. Who's the cheap dick now? I think it's the guy wearing the hoodie.
Speaking of which, you
Can we hey, hold on. If we're switching gears, I want to wedge this into the conversation. Right. And you are allowed to completely say no. Can we have a conversation about what you admitted to me yesterday about your weekend?
No. No.
All right. Next topic.
I'm never telling you anything ever again.
Come on, there's a conversation there, and you know there's a conversation about is too much too much.
Yeah. It's too much. I'm never, there's a point where we hung out and we got together and we're like, you're a good guy. Let's do a show. Where you said something to me and I'm like, whatever. You said this to me. You said, Dean, I can't keep a secret at all. You're like,
I said, if you don't want to hear it on the podcast, do not tell me.
Never, ever tell me anything that you don't want people to know. Especially when you say, please don't tell anybody, because that's when I'll tell people.
I'm not going to be able to contain myself. Oh, and you know what? I'll tell you who's dying is anybody who has been on this podcast with us that's listening.
Why?
Oh, because they want to know what the hell we're talking about. Because they probably have a bit of a guess.
Dude, and it's all women, too. Yeah. Shelly wants to know. Jen wants to know. Melissa wants to know. Ashley wants to know.
Listen, I respect your privacy in this regard, and I probably overstepped my bounds in the conversation that we're having now. So we do not need to talk about it.
You weren't kidding, though, when you said, hey, Dean, if we're going to do this podcast, there's one thing you need to know about me. I can't keep a secret worth shit.
I'm horrible at it.
So if you ever say to me, and you did say this to me, so it's my own fault. I'm not even mad. Because you're like, you tell me anything in private, I'll tell everybody on the show. Everybody. I can't help it. It just comes out. It's like vomit. And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about that.
Are we going to get to a point, though, where we can start talking about it?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I got patience.
Clearly you don't. Clearly you have none. But clearly you are who you told me you are. So I know what I'm getting. You know what I want to talk about before we go?
Yeah.
COVID.
Okay.
We haven't talked about COVID for how long? A couple weeks, few weeks.
Yeah.
It's been a fucking great break. As luck would have it, we took a COVID break just in time for the 6th wave to fist the entire country. It's exciting, isn't it?
You know, the hospitalization numbers aren't going up.
Oh, they're way up. We're getting crushed in Ontario.
Oh, are you? Okay, see, in Alberta,
50% week over week. Fuck.
We're not. Maybe it'll move its way here, though.
It will. But we're getting fucked. Like 50% week over week, hospitalizations, ICU way up, bunch of people dying. They're saying, according to the wastewater count, which is like, you just checking the shit. There's like, we should have 125,000 cases a day now. That's kind of the understanding according to the wastewater thing, which I believe it is.
And Alberta likes meth according to the wastewater.
Was there a lot of meth in the wastewater?
Yeah.
Sir, really? I didn't know that.
We got a bit of a meth problem in Edmonton, apparently.
It's amazing what you can find out from people's shit, isn't it?
Yeah, NP.
Yeah, we should have our own, actually. We should have our own scat looked at.
We don't need to look at my pee.
No, we don't. Anyway, my point is this: they're saying we're
fucked. Get you drunk.
Probably.
You might want to put a couple of ice cubes in it, though. I don't know. Hot pee from Locke, not
anyway. Don't drink Locke's pee. But I will say this: it is all time 6th wave, and they had a press conference where Dr. Kieran Moore, who's the chief medical officer of Ontario, they asked him. They're like, hey, man, 40% absence in school. There's one school around the corner for me. Out of 18 teachers, 3 showed up. 4 kids at school. What? My son went to school the other day. Supposed to be 28 people in the class. 3. It's like, fuck, he just left. Okay, can I come home? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Doesn't matter. No masks in schools. So we have this press conference. The chief medical officer of the province, right? His name Kieran Moore. This is bald fuck.
I've seen him. He's
a
do
douche.
his press conferences.
Yeah, he's just like Mr. Goofy.
Yeah.
So they ask him today, right? Like, we're getting fit. It's a full-on fucking COVID wave. And a month ago, Doug Ford, in his infinite lying genius, was like, people just want to go walk around. Fuck you guys. I'm crazy. Jesus saves. My daughters are fucked. And so we have no masks, no mandates, no nothing. Every fucking dirty individual doesn't think this is going on. It's just walking around like fucking everything's cool. Kids are going to school, which is where the vector is, right? School into home. It's this U-shaped bullshit. The horseshoe, they call it, where it's like school, home, out, home, school. And so here we are, 125 to 150,000 cases a day in this one province. Don't know about you. Hospitalizations are way up. And here's the two things. I will say this: two things happened over the past couple of days that I laughed about. One of them is a reporter asked Christine Elliott, who's the health minister, who's also a giant piece of shit, should we be putting masks on again? Like maybe send the kids to school? Like Philadelphia just decided to remask. A bunch of other cities across the United States, some in Canada, are rethinking. Should we be doing it? And you know what her answer was? No, because we have enough hospital beds now that it's okay if we infect a whole bunch of children at school because we don't give a fuck about them. That's what she said. I'm paraphrasing the last part.
I think you are. I haven't heard a politician speak like that.
No, but close enough. She's like, we got enough beds. Fuck it. Caution to the wind. Then today, Kieran Moore, he's the fucking health, the medical health officer. He's like this. They're like, should we be like remasking again? And he's like, no, but maybe. No, but maybe.
That's usually the answer I get when I ask for sex on Saturdays.
No, it depends on how drunk I get. So maybe. No, but maybe. To the point where he's like, yeah, I should probably, it might be a case where we might have to do it. But here's the best part. He looked great. Do you know why he looked great? He spent the last 2 weeks in the Caribbean.
He's got a nice tan.
Oh, totally. He looks beautiful. He's got this nice olive hue going.
Doesn't have the high pressure blotchy red look from drinking in your basement.
No, he looks fucking awesome. And the reason why he looks awesome is because he fucked off while we were fighting this, and he took all the masking restrictions and mandates away. And here's why: because I've actually spoken to someone with Ford's office, and they're like, dude, there's an election coming up. Doug wants nothing to do with masks. He wants to treat this like fuck you, and here we are. His exact words. I fucking wrote an article on it at deanblundell.com, which I stand by. Fuck them.
Okay.
I'm tired of this. Were the words that I heard about Doug Ford. Could be right, could be wrong. The words that I heard coming out of the conservative government of Ontario, full of fucking liars, is lie, 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 lie some more. Keep lying because they can't keep up with all the lies at the same time. That's legitimately the fucking process for these douchebags. To the point where his fucking broad, pardon my language, I shouldn't say broad, his communications director, Ivana Yelich, I get a little jacked up. My bad. Sorry to all the females. I've been told recently by someone I care about, broad's a bad word. Don't use it. Apologize. Fully. So there you go.
Chicks isn't good either.
No. But this chick, Ivana Yelich, who's his comms director, who's banging the reporter at the Toronto Star named Brian Lilly, who Brian Lilly is now sending out hit pieces on everybody who's attacking Doug Ford, to the point where after, you remember this little fucking nugget that came out the other day with the schools, how private schools got more tests, paramedics, daycares, shelters, and jails combined because Doug Ford gave them to his buddies' kids at private schools. Remember that? Just a fucking absolute atrocious story.
So angry.
And the Toronto Star did a bang-up job of doing this, by the way. But do you remember that? So Ivana Yelich, who's his comms director, put out a tweet, and she's like, rapid tests don't work anyway.
Jesus.
And the very next tweet, here's the best part, the very next tweet was literally a whole bunch here. Dude, here's the tweets. This is the next tweet. So here's the first tweet, which it just kills me. Testing with rapid antigen tests is not recommended, she says, which is a fucking lie. They're like 75, 80% accurate. You're going to take 75, 80% anytime you're talking about infectious disease ever. So she's a fucking liar and an idiot. But here's the other part. After she says tests are useless, she goes, here's all the tests we gave out, being good citizens. She's like, in fact, since the start of the pandemic, Ontario has deployed more than 158 million of those useless tests.
So yeah, so she just makes herself look.
Oh my God.
I do have a theory.
Yeah.
So I need you to play a little game with me. Let's
Sure.
just
I love
imagine
games.
that COVID wasn't politicized. Okay.
Yeah.
And that we aren't all mad at our government officials, and we are all good citizens.
I'm not mad. I expect it.
And we are all going to follow the rules to a T. By the way, they did a recent study, and they did some math, and they figured that the vaccine in the United States alone may have saved 2.2 million people between a certain period of time. I think it was Omicron to the back end of the last wave that we dealt with.
Yeah.
Delta. Okay. So anyway, I read that article. That one would work well for the lizard brains in the crowd. But let's just suggest that we get COVID. We know what it is. Somebody, they all get together and they employ a strategy and they pass it along to the general public. Okay, we're gonna wash our hands. Remind people to wash your hands. Okay, right? So let's do that more. We're gonna social distance. We're gonna stay 6 feet apart because we know right out of the gates that this is an airborne virus. So we're going to try to do that, and we're going to try to do that where we can in the grocery stores. And we are going to lock down. We're going to lock down, and we're going to mask, and then we're going to get you a vaccine. And then that vaccine comes pretty quick. Okay, we get it 3, 4, 5 months into the pandemic. Okay, 6 months. We'll say 6 months. We start slamming that into everybody, and everyone's compliant, okay? And we flatten the curve, okay?
Yeah.
And then a second vaccine comes, and we go, it's probably a good idea because we're starting to open up again, right? Best summer ever. We're going to open up again.
Yeah.
Now, we need you to get that set, and everyone gets it. Everyone got the first one. Everyone got the second one. Now we're fairly protected. Life is back to normal again. That did not happen. There was a faction of the population that resisted those mandates, thought it was all a bunch of bullshit. There's a faction of the population that thinks no matter what the government say to me, they're lying, they're full of shit. I'm going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can't control that. Why did we have mandates and lockdowns and face masks for as long as we did?
To control
to protect
that portion.
those people.
Yeah.
Now we're at a point where we got mental health crisis. We got drug overdoses on the rise, higher than they ever have been. We've got a government that's exhausted, that doesn't know what to do about the level of dissatisfaction for public officials in this country. Like Trudeau's in Edmonton, and I said on the air this morning, I'm like, go home. What are you
He's
doing?
in Edmonton?
Why
Fucking
are
taking
you
life into
here?
his own hands, that guy.
Like, honestly, just go home. Like, listen, you might as well just succumb to the fact that you're the most hated man, not only in Canada, but quite possibly in Alberta.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
For sure. Just
Yeah.
why are you here? You're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah.
So we had these mandates, Dean, and they lasted as long as they did because we have a group of people in the country that didn't believe this was real.
Yeah.
So you're forcing something on a population that agrees with it. They're fucking done too. I'm not saying that the sixth wave isn't real. I'm saying that, and I also am not saying that Doug Ford's not an idiot. I'm saying that public officials are at a point where they know no matter what they say or do, they're not going to impact change with how people perceive what we've gone through in the last 2 years. And it's fuck it. I think everyone's hit the fuck it button.
Yeah. And it's funny because to some extent, if you ask me in an honest moment, I have too. Lots of us have in different situations.
I'm still masking, but I've hit the fuck it button too.
Oh, dude, I'm still masking everywhere I go. My kids are masking. It's their choice. I leave it up to them. I don't freak them out or shit the pants or fucking lose it because they didn't. But this is everyone I know has COVID. My ex, who my son lives with from time to time, he can't come here because she's got COVID. That means he's got to isolate, right? There were 8 kids in my kid's school yesterday. The idea, and this is me. I'm at the fucking portion, but I'm still diligent about making sure that I take care of my side of the street. You know what I mean? It's just, and the idea that we haven't talked about COVID for 4 weeks it's fucking by design. The reason why we haven't talked about it is I'm tired of it. I'm tired of fucking telling people what to do and how to go and places to go. And so when I decided
we didn't really do that. We didn't really do that. We expressed our opinion, but we didn't sign off every podcast with going, now you need to go get the next booster. We never did that. We kind of left it up to everyone. Well, no.
You just did. I just called everybody who couldn't read stupid. And if you can't read and you don't understand how important it is to take care of yourself, it doesn't matter anymore. That's the thing. When you're advocating for the greater good, my fuck it is, I'm not going to advocate for shit. There are guys like Imgren and guys like Fizman that are still advocating, and I retweet their shit. But when it comes to actually putting it in my daily conversation, I'm I cannot physically do it anymore. This I can do because it's not about masking or mandates. Dude, am I sick of it? Of course. Have I worn a mask absolutely everywhere? No, I haven't. I've been in stores without a mask. I've been to gas stations without a mask. That's just a function of my forgetfulness. And I'm fuck, I don't have a mask. I'm just going to go in, brave it, do my thing, not be an asshole, and all. I'm going to come out, and I'm probably going to be okay because you could shoot a cannon through the grocery stores I go to. So who gives a shit, right? That's my thinking, is my day-to-day isn't really impacted, so I'm going to keep doing the stuff I got to do. However, you know that we're getting into another fucking cold and flu season. March break just happened. People coming in from all over the world.
I got sick last week.
That's the week you decide to drop mask and fucking mandates? That's the week? And so if we knew that, and if we know that this is hurting our kids, and if we know these kids are the vectors and they're giving it to every family, it can only be one decision. And that one decision that I have to make when I'm assessing exactly what's happening here is what's the intention? And I can make a decision as to how I feel about us not having masks on as, did you have to fuck the kids too? You know what I mean? Did you have to tell the kids they don't matter that much? To tell the kids they don't matter in public school, which make up 95% of schools in this fucking province, by giving almost every single fucking test, which you say doesn't matter anymore, to those private schools and not to public schools, jails, shelters, childcare, the most vulnerable people. It leads to the lie, right? The lie and all the lies. Ivana Yelitz.
It's politics. It's still politics. Even the testing, they made it political.
Lie.
Bullshit.
Everything's a fucking lie. Listen, and I want people to listen to me carefully. If you're from the province of Ontario or Alberta, same problem. We have the same problem.
I'd like to see a graph. I'd like to see a similar graph you should contact your Toronto Star contacts and just say, hey, is there anything like that for Alberta? Because I bet you it's fucking identical.
I bet it is.
I bet you private schools,
businesses guaranteed. Like Linmar Construction or Linmar Automotive, great pals with Doug Ford. They got the lion's share of rapid tests. They also donated a bunch of money prior to getting the rapid tests. I mean, it is all over the place. He's not going to be able to keep a cap on this. And I know some things about Doug Ford that he definitely doesn't want people to know. Definitely doesn't want people to know. And each time he lies, I get closer to telling people those stories. And he is going to come to a point before June 2nd, probably 2 or 3 weeks prior, where I'm going to tell everybody about Doug Ford. I'm going to tell everybody about Doug Ford, his relationships, his friends, all that stuff, the things that he used to do, the things he still does. Because we can't have someone like this in charge of the province who fucking hates you and hates me and hates everybody that doesn't give him enough for him to be the person that he wants everybody to think he is, which is in charge, man. He wants everybody to think he's a guy. This is just fucking roll call at this point, where he goes around to each individual business and he tells that he does business with, whether it's RBI, Restaurant Brands International, because of his attachment to Tim Hortons, or whether it's his attachment to Linmar, construction companies around this country. He is so fucking compromised, and he is such a fucking liar that everything he does should be investigated when it comes to making any decision in the best interest of anybody's health in this province. Because if he can find a fucking way, and Kenny's the same, if they can find a fucking way to politicize it, steal from it, use it, beat someone with it, weaponize with it, or find a way to utilize that to put money in their pocket for the future to solidify relationships that they need to be able to skeeve off of their fucking disgusting reputations, then that's what we have here. That is exactly what we have here. And, you know, to a better extent, Locke, to your point, I haven't mentioned the fact they're all conservatives. They're all alt-right, right-wing, super religious fucking losers.
All these
politicians,
all of them, they're in the same boat.
All of them. So, think twice.
Are we going to say anything positive about Doug? Like,
no.
Is he good? Is he a good swimmer?
I don't think he's a good swimmer. He loves snowmobiling. He used to sling hash in high school.
Ryan Coke.
No, he doesn't drink.
He doesn't drink, really?
No, but I think he used to mix drinks for his brother. I don't know if he packed his brother's crack pipe for him, too. However, that's a terrible family, people. That is a terrible fucking family. And you know why they're a terrible family? I'll tell you why they're a terrible family. The entire family is garbage. The kids are garbage. The brothers are garbage. Because all they do is lie for personal gain. They don't give a fuck about you. Nothing. And they serve a different master, not the people of this province. Same with Jason Kenney. You know who Jay serves? Jesus, man. And the Jesus faction. That's who gets all of his attention. That's who gets all the money in fucking rapid tests and COVID shit in this province. Doug's business relationships and the Jesus faction that his entire family's attached to because they're fucking crazy. Anyway, that's just what I was thinking.
So we're not getting Doug as a guest.
I don't think not this week.
We'll let some time go by.
I don't think that'll matter. No.
And then maybe time heals all wounds.
I don't think it's going to heal these ones.
I like how you set this up like you have more to tell.
Oh, so much more. And I'm not telling you after we just discovered how well you can keep a secret. Hey, you're the last guy I'm telling. I'm just going to load it up onto the screen one day and go, oh, he did that.
You shouldn't tell me. Let's keep that out of Locke's head.
Purview.
Okay, let's wrap up with our goat gear. We need to let people know about the goat gear. Okay.
First of all, can you just tell people about the store, because this is your baby? Lachlan, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, is in charge of the Dean Blundell shop.
Well, I have a friend who is a lot smarter than me, and I started talking to him about 6 months ago, and I said, Scotty, I need a new merch situation. We had a store for the last couple of years, and it wasn't awful. It just wasn't working. And so he did some research. The two of us looked into a couple of different angles, and we figured out how to launch this bad boy. It's been a bit of a chore, I'm not going to lie, and some bumps in the road. But Scotty and I managed to put together this merch page that is on my, if you do any of my social media, you'll see a link, any of Grant's or Jimmy's, and you can go to it. It looks exactly like the Dean Blundell store, which you just saw. Yeah. And we basically created the same template for Dean Blundell, the podcast network. And we're going to roll this out for the other podcasters in the network here in the near future as well. We're just sort of figuring out, we're making all our mistakes on ours right now. And then we'll streamline this process and, you know, like you'll be able to buy maybe a black bald thing or a fire for effect thing, or maybe a tripping with Bonzi thing right down the road.
I doubt the tripping with Bonzi thing. He's got his own merch. I saw him humping it yesterday. I'm like,
oh, okay, all right. Well, we don't need to. Yeah. Anyway, this is a look at some of the options that we have for the goat gear. So every team in the NHL is represented. Canadian team is represented. And we took their numbers, put it on a goat, and put it on a hat and a T-shirt, men's and women's, and we
Yeah.
tried to duplicate the colors as close to as we could. So we got a Johnny Hockey jersey there.
Yeah.
For the Flames, and we got McJesus there for the Oilers, obviously.
I believe we
You got
also
the next
have
slide?
a Kachuk goat shirt.
That Brady Kachuk, I am not a big fan of the Kachuk boys at all.
No, I love him.
But I don't mind watching him. He's
fucking
definitely
insane.
leading the Sens.
Yeah.
That team is definite. Like, I don't think they have a hope in that. No, they don't. There's no way they're
Right.
making the playoffs. But
No.
But you got to be happy with how the Sens have played in the last couple of months. And of course, Price, who hasn't played at all this year, needed to be on a Habs jersey.
Yeah.
Our
Well,
Habs
dude,
shirt.
we did it because he's a good person too, and he's the best player maybe to ever wear the best goalie to maybe to ever wear.
You guys also didn't like my idea of completely ignoring the Habs
no,
with this
because
campaign.
you can't do it. You got to give Canada their own fucking stuff. You got the Miller goat T-shirt. You've got the
JT
Connor goat
JT's
T-shirt.
quite a player, man. I don't
Yeah,
know how
he
long
is.
he's going to last in Vancouver, but damn, he's a
I want him
fucking
in
gem.
Toronto.
Yeah.
But I think the idea for
You
us
guys
here
gotta
is like
fucking
if
get
you
him
go to
too.
deanblundell.com and you go to the shop, what's that?
You guys are dicks. You're going to get him.
Yeah, probably. We get
Yeah.
everything. We're going to win the Stanley
And
Cup this year too.
Connor, obviously, Kyle Connor for the Jets. If you are going to be dealing with a storm in Winnipeg, maybe you just,
Order
go
online.
online and buy one of these jerseys.
But I think part of this whole exercise for us is as we head into the playoffs, we wanted to give people a chance to compete with each other if your fan base is in it. Now, listen, if you buy a Carey Price goat shirt, you're just buying it because you love Carey Price. But pretty much most in Ottawa, too, not really into it. Winnipeg, not so much. But like, we have fucking good Canadian hockey. We're going to see some Canadian teams in the NHL playoffs. Hopefully
The
go fucking
banner
deep.
year.
Yeah, dude, there's like Toronto's got 100 points. They go again tonight. They're going to finish with 110 points, maybe if they're lucky. 107 points, 106, 108 in there. We haven't seen that in a long time. Matthews with 58, 99 points. So he's just fucking unbelievable.
It's insane.
Yeah, dude, and he's scoring at a pace never seen before in the last like fucking 40 years or 50 years or something like that. It's unbelievable. But the bottom line is that this is a great way for you to gauge who your favorite team is. And you can go to the store and you can buy your favorite shirt. These are cool. You can get your hat. You can get the lady shirt, lady tee if you like.
I'm
or you
not
can get
going to
the
lie.
different color tees.
Matthews is leading the pack right now, which
Is
is
he?
pissing me off.
Well, it's the best
34
shirt.
goat shirt is leading the way. Not too far behind McDavid, though.
Is he really?
But don't you? McDavid's doing well. Yeah, we've sold a number of McDavid, but we've sold way more. But you know what? You guys had a head start. But before we put up the rest, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Can you put up the Matthews?
Yeah, I'm doing
Mouth
it right now.
Merkin Matthews shirt too?
Why do you call him Mouth Merkin Matthews?
Because of that awful mustache.
It's a fucking great stash. He looks like that's why they call him Poppy. He wants to come across as he's Arizonan. I believe his mother is of Spanish descent. Why do you have to be such an angry fucking hateful
awful
Matthews
facial
fan?
hair.
It's not great. Yeah, here's the Matthews gear. This is selling like hotcakes too, by the way. You can get these Dean Blundell shop. You get the 34 goat, you get the lady tee, and you can wear this to the fucking game. You're going to spend $2,000 on tickets, at least spend $28 on a shirt.
There you go.
Yeah. And at the end, so we're doing this until the playoffs start. That's my understanding. We're going to offer a special promo code a week prior to the playoffs. You can get in on this. You can make. We don't care if we make any money. This is all about content for us. The reason why we came up with the merch store is because we wanted to be able to point to things and go, see, fuck you. That was the whole idea. Or see, fuck you, because my player's better than yours. We sold more shirts. Or we wanted to be for people to be able to tell others to go fuck themselves. Like right now, you can get this "Go Fuck Yourself" shirt at deanblundell.com, #GFY. And the beauty of it is if someone's like, that's so offensive, you can say, no, it just means good for you. It's like a 2-for-1, right?
Did you see Christy on social media today?
No.
She got her go
fuck yourself mug.
She got the GFY. Yes.
Sure.
Christy O'Hara.
Christy O'Hara.
Hat. She got the hat.
Oh my God. And she looks great.
Did you find her?
Yeah, it's
O'Hara.
a decent hat too. Look at that hat.
That's
Fuck,
a good
she
looking
looks
hat.
good in that hat. You want to see it? Oh, there she is. Yeah. Look at Christy looking good
There
in
we
the
go.
"Go Fuck Yourself" hat. Or it means good for you. You never know. You don't even have to tell the person. That's the great part. You just walk around with "Go Fuck Yourself" or "Good for You" on your hat, shirt, sweater, hoodie, what have you. Comes in ladies, comes in men's. You can get a mug too. The old "Go Fuck Yourself, Good for You" mug. It's all there.
We need to sell more McDavid shirts because we got to catch up to old Mouth Merkin. By the way, Oilers are playing tonight. Look at that.
She looks good.
Christy looks good. Yeah.
That's a little "Go Fuck Yourself" hat. I love how she already curved the brim too. Not a big brim curler, but I don't wear a ton of hats either. So fuck, she looks good.
Yeah.
That's nice. Our merch is on, people.
Yeah. The cups look good too, man.
The mugs?
Yeah, we got one of Grant's. Grant did a little sample order there, and I got a shirt for the wife, and Jimmy got I think he got the I Hate Vegan shirts from the Locker Room store. And then I bought a shirt for the wife, and Grant got the I Get My News from the Grant Report. And they're good cups. We did a little video like yesterday or today. I can't remember.
I'll put it out. I want to see it. Are they the same cups that we have, like the "Go Fuck Yourself" mug? Same thing. Glossy, $18. It's a big mug too.
I'm gonna buy a bunch of those for the house because I like them. They're a good size.
Yeah. Get yourself some mugs. They're huge. If you love huge mugs and like little passive aggressive like acts of anger, these are for you too. Anyway, check it out at the shop.
All right.
Thanks for doing this, dude.
That was a good one fun. Today. I'm glad that we continue to bring Alex on. That just makes my week every time we have him on. Yeah.
Isn't he the best?
He's awesome. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Do you want to go out with his kid?
Yeah, go out with the little boy.
Go out with
our tour.
Our tour.
A tour.
So I'll say goodbye now, and we're going to go out with our tour. Alex's 2-month-old. One of the most beautiful videos you've ever seen. Dude's in a war, and he's making baby videos. Crazy.
It is crazy.
It is nuts, isn't it? Like to have the presence of mind to go, no, let me just enjoy this moment because, like, fuck, there's cruise missiles flying over my head, and just let me enjoy this one moment with my son.
Last week when we're chatting with him, and they got the air horn warnings or whatever on his phone.
Air sirens, yeah.
Air siren.
Yeah, and he's like this. There we go again.
I was like, oh, that's another another bombing warning.
No big deal.
Starts talking again. Yeah.
Anyway, we thank Alex for coming on the show. Want to thank everybody for being here, including Colin Bruce. Thank our sponsors at Domination. Dominate with content. Go to dmntn.com. Also try Ed's Fine Imports, edsfineimports.com. His Gitch3 is your promo code. Also, thank you to our friends. At Envision Solutions. If you need some back-end work done, want some work on your back end, digital. Need any work done to your back end? You don't. But if you're in need of a digital partner, you don't know what you're doing, go to envision.co. Again, envision.co. Check them out today. And Easy Auto Financial, our friends at Easy Auto Financial. Making it easy for you to get in a car. No financing needed. Bad credit, they don't care. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. They are your people. They'll help you get a car and free financing as well. And sign up for a newsletter, DeanBlundell.com. We're going to go out with little Arthur today, and we'd love for you to watch this. This little baby is 2 months old. It's Alex's son. Said we're going to finish with it, so here you go. Arthur taking us out of the podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Oh, you're talking to me. You are talking to me like that. Oh.